One of the most stressful times for both the home buyer and the home seller is during the appraisal period. Unless you have a good agent that understands how everything works and what to do before, during, and after the sale of the house, everything could seriously go right down the tubes. If you've come to this video with one of the following questions on your mind that need to be answered: your appraisal came in short, you're getting ready for an appraisal, you're doing your research to get ready to either buy or sell a home, and you've heard of this come up from other people before. So watch this video to the end to get all the tips that you need so you can make a more informed decision. This is Ron with Keller Williams Elite with the Ron and Jill Group. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button down below, turn on the bell for notifications. We're going to be posting a lot of content here weekly. Now, let's get to the show. When it comes to either being the home buyer or the home seller, and as an agent, I've represented both sides. I've seen situations come up that impacts directly to either the home buyer or the home seller. And usually, in most cases, we create a win-win situation. And when appraisal problems do come in, the home buyer and the home seller have their own unique issues. The home buyer, they're looking for the best deal possible, while the home seller, they're trying to get as much money as possible as well. During the home appraisal, a third party is sent in to verify the sales price of the home, and that is the appraiser. When the appraiser comes in, they're giving their opinion of the sales price of the home. It is to protect not only the lender, but protect the buyer from overpaying on the property. When the appraiser comes out, it's not going to be like a home inspection where they're going to be looking everything up from top to bottom and having this long report. What they're doing is pretty much a verification of everything and taking a lot of pictures of the property itself. And usually this takes between 30 to 45 minutes, or depending on how big the property is. It's going to show it's at or above market sales value, or it'll show, hey, by the way, it did not appraise for this much. You were up here at say $500, but it only appraised for $475,000, $25,000 gap. Majority of the time when I represented both the buyer or the seller, you know what? The appraisal came in at market value, and everything moved along all the way to closing. If the appraisal did not come in, there are some steps that need to be taken. In a crazy seller's market like we're experiencing right now, the buyer's agent will add in special addendums. One of the addendums I've seen, and I've seen this a lot, is they will waive the appraisal gap. If the purchase price is at $500,000, but the appraisal came in at $480,000, the buyer's gonna go ahead and come $20,000 out of pocket to cover the difference. Pretty much it is very common out here right now. Other one that I've seen come out is an addendum that they will go ahead and pay the difference up to a certain amount. I usually see the addendums where they'll put in there, we'll cover it up to a $10,000 difference. So if the home was on the market for $500,000, but it's only valued at $480,000, the buyer's only on the hook for $490,000. When it comes to these loans, not all loans are created equally. With that being said, it's depending on what type of loan will determine how long the appraisal is going to stick with the property. The most common loans out here are VA, FHA, and conventional. Hey folks, if you are finding value in this video so far, please do me a favor. Drop a comment down below and tell me what is your favorite part of the valley or a part you're interested in. Now, let's get back to the show. And each one of these type of loans has a certain amount of time that it will stick with the property. Once an appraisal is done with the property, it is going to stick with that property for a set amount of time. If the contingency came in lower than expected and the home goes back on the market and the home buyer and seller couldn't come to an agreement, it goes back on the market. The thing about it, you're going to have to disclose that to the next prospective buyer. If you don't, guess who is? The lending company. Even if it's a totally different lending company, it is stuck with that property for a fixed amount of time. These appraisals can stick with the property anywhere from 30 days all the way out to 240 days. If it was a VA appraisal that was ordered, it could stick up to the property for 6 months, or it'll go ahead and come off and expire once the home is purchased. If it is an FHA type of loan, it'll stick with the property for 120 days. For conventional, 120 days or 1 year for a new build. And of course, when it comes to the conventional, they're a little bit more lenient, so they could go ahead and shorten it up a little bit more. So understanding there is an addendum and there is a time limit of how long these appraisals stick on the property. If there was no addendum whatsoever and it's like a normal market, this is what usually happens, and it's just one of three things. The first thing that we would do when we see an appraisal shortage is review the entire thing. We recently had a client in a very niche home in a very small subdivision, and these homes were pretty well sought after. However, when the appraiser came out, he had no concept of the specialty of this type of home, the neighborhood, the area, so on and so forth. Pretty much he came out there and looked at all the cookie cutters, matched up that special house with all the cookie cutter houses. Wrong answer. When we try to tell the lender this, we pretty much said, look, if you're not going to fix it, we'll go ahead, order another appraisal. Once we review the errors, we went ahead and submitted a rebuttal to get a new appraiser out there. We pointed out all the problems, we pointed out what was missed, and we pretty much spelled out, look, there's a lack of understanding for that area, that type of home being built, and pretty much everything that goes into the market value and the sale price of that home. And it was pretty much spot on. Once that rebuttal does go through, they can either do one of two things, change it up or tell you to go kick rocks. If they tell you to kick rocks, you can go ahead and order another appraisal to go out there with the understanding, hey, listen, this is the type of home it is, here's what was missed before, and here's the things that need to happen. Now, the real estate agents, the banks, nobody else could directly influence it. However, if things are missed, you can bring that up to them. Next thing, you can renegotiate the terms of the contract and the price of the home. You can come up with a win-win. You can accept, the seller can accept the lower price, or the buyer could go ahead and add in a few more dollars towards the closing, or the buyer could go ahead and make up the difference in some other way. There are a bunch of win-win solutions out there, so having the right agent understanding how to make that happen is very critical to it. Alrighty folks, I hope you found value in this video. Please, before you go, hit that subscribe button down below, turn on the bell for notifications. We're going to be posting a lot of content here weekly. We'll see you soon.